Welcome back to Ithaca, New York. Cornell and Princeton about to match up in game 3 of this 3-game series. And Jin, before we went to break, you were telling us about the starting pitching matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And right here on the screen, you see Kyrie Denny warming up for Cornell, 3.89 ERA. She started game 1 and also came in relief in game 2 yesterday. Gave up 6 runs and 7 runs, but only one of those 13 runs was actually earned. So she actually lowered her ERA on the day today and hoping to right the ship here for Cornell after 2 losses.
Yeah, and she'll go up against Brielle Wright for Princeton. This was actually both teams' starters in game 1 yesterday, which the Tigers took 7-2. The Tigers, though, did not jump out to a big lead until that 4th inning when they put up 5 runs against Kyrie Denny. She lasted only 3 2/3, so was knocked out in that 5th inning. But starting things off for the Tigers will be Sonia Zhang. In game 1 yesterday, she hit, or excuse me, in game 1 yesterday, she hit the lone home run of the doubleheader, a grand slam.
Yeah, Zhang just absolutely smashed one to left field.
Take a first pitch strike.
That it was a line drive, absolute laser beam. I wasn't sure it was going out, but that one just kept carrying.
He's hitting 378 on the season, second highest amongst Tiger batters. He, though, as you mentioned, 3.89 ERA, really impressive 51-18 strikeout to walk ratio, so controls the ball well from the circle. Catch the inside corner there to jump ahead, 1-2. Strong yesterday, a combined 2 for 5 with the home run, also scored 2 runs in game 2. Take just inside.
Yeah, and one of the things about this Princeton team is they can hit up and down their lineup. There's power up and down their lineup. Zhang on the season already 5 home runs out of the leadoff spot.
Yeah, it makes this Princeton offense, really tough to face for the opposing pitchers. No breaks, and it's part of the reason they're 10-1 to start the year. And after going up in the count, 1-2, Kyrie Denny loses Sonia Zhang. So a leadoff walk. In game 1 yesterday, Denny did not walk a batter, although she did hit one. It's going to be an early meeting of the umpires. Not sure what this is about. New umpire crew today compared to yesterday. There'll be a discussion. Looks like they'll go back to their bases, maybe something to do with spacing. Anyways, that'll bring up Lauren Sabloni with a runner on first. Sabloni, the Tiger center fielder.
Yeah, we saw Sabloni lower down in the lineup yesterday, but she has batted second and also led off in games throughout last season and this season, so very experienced in the spot.
Sabloni grounds one over the third. Ullensvang, nope, it's going to be Herod will get it, but she can't quite corral it, so I assume we'll go down as a single for Sabloni. That'll move Zhang over to third, and the Tigers are already in business, and they've got their best hitter by batting average, Carice Ford, now to the dish.
Yeah, and not only batting average, but pretty much every other statistical category. Ford is having a fantastic season, named Player of the Week on 2 different occasions this year.
He had 5 RBIs between the 2 games yesterday. She'll take a first pitch strike outside. Zhang away from second. She walked. Sabloni at first. Grounded it into the hole on the left side of the infield. I thought Ullensvang was going to be able to come in and cut it off, but it went all the way to Herod, who, moving away from first base, was going to have a tough play other way. That one hit right back to that hole, and it gets through. Staff up with the ball. They're not going to send Zhang, but some hard hit contact and a hit for Ford. That'll load the bases for the cleanup hitter, Ali Ha.
Well, this is what we saw from Princeton all day yesterday, just getting those ground ball singles, getting runners on base. How many times do we see the bases loaded? And this Princeton team just keeps the line moving.
Looks like they're going to pinch run for Carice Ford at first. That's going to be Julia Roa.
Julietta Roa.
Yeah, excuse me. So Roa will go to first. Zhang moved over to third, and I think it was the right call not to send her from that spot. Staff was up with the ball quickly since Ford hit the ball so hard. So Ali Ha, she'll swing at the first pitch and pop it up. It'll fly out to Staff in left. Tagging and going home is Zhang. She will get there safely. All the runners advance, but Roa looked like she was going to be caught in a rundown. Instead, she will advance to second when the throw gets away from Antich, and Sabloni will score. So the Red get their first out, but not before the Tigers strike twice. They'll take a 2-0 lead and have a runner on second. That's Roa who advanced to second on the Ali Ha sac fly. Now Jessica Phelps will come to the dish with a runner in scoring position. Swinging at the first pitch again. Ullensvang had it in her glove, lost it. She'll fake the throw to first to keep Roa at second, but another base runner reaches, and these Tiger hitters are teeing off early in these plate appearances against Denny.
Well, yeah, we saw a lot of this from Princeton yesterday. Early contact, we saw a lot of sacrifice flies, and we saw some errors from Cornell that really led to more and more damage.
Coach Farlow out to chat early with her starting pitcher, Kyrie Denny, and Denny has battled through adversity throughout this weekend. She looked good in game one, even with runners on. That'll go down as an error on Ullensvang, who had it in her glove, so Phelps will reach on the E5.
Yeah, and if you're Denny, obviously not great to give up a couple runs right here at the beginning, but, choppers and some other soft contact, not the worst in the world.
Now it'll be Goodwin who slaps one to right. That'll get through. Coming around and being held at third is Roa. So once again, the bases will be loaded after Allie Goodwin gets a knock, and Braden Hale, the designated player now for the Tigers, with the bases loaded for the second time this inning. More good hard contact early in the count off of Kyrie Denny.
Well, you've got to think that it's a factor that these Princeton hitters have seen Denny two games yesterday and now a third game today.
Swing and a miss there from Hale, so a good start to this plate appearance from Denny. I think you're right. They're seeing the ball well out of her hand. Roa at third. She's pinch running for Carice Ford. Jessica Phelps at second. She reached on the air from Ullensvang. Here's the pitch, grounded right back to Denny, who gets the out at home. Nice play there from Kyrie Denny. I think she looked to see maybe she could turn two to get out of the inning. Wasn't enough time, and got the out she needed to get.
Well, yeah, heads up play. It was a bit of a chopper, not a ton of time, but coming home and taking down the lead runner with the force out.
Runners will stay where they are. Now it'll be Graciela Dominguez. Dominguez hitting in this 8-hole, the second baseman for the Tigers. She'll take a first pitch high. Rare first pitch take so far in this first inning.
Yeah.
Zhang and Sabloni have come around to score. The Tigers lead 2-0, and the bases are still loaded for Dominguez. Ground that one right off the plate, and so ahead in the count is Denny.
Dominguez had a great game yesterday in game two. Out of the 9 spot in the order, 2 hits and a walk, led off 3 different innings, 3 different rallies for Princeton.
She also came around to score a run in that game. Catch the outside part of the zone, so now Denny is ahead in the count. Dominguez hitting .329 so far this season. She's started 27 games for the Tigers. Overall record of 16-13. She's played in all 29. She'll ground this one over to first. Harshberger's got it, and she will step on the bag for the out. Looks like maybe Dominguez thought she hit it off the plate or off her leg, and so therefore it was foul. She didn't end up running up that first base line. The umpires will discuss it. Not sure if any of them had a view. The home plate umpire said I don't think he saw it. It hit pretty hard up that first base line. Usually when the ball gets hit off the plate or off a foot, it doesn't roll that far.
Yeah, I agree, but out of the box, Dominguez was not really running to first. Definitely think something happened.
Well, it looks like that'll do it for the first inning. or the top of the first inning. Before Cornell can come to the plate, the Tigers strike twice. They've now scored in the first inning in all 3 games, and we will take a break before Cornell comes to the plate. Back to Neiman Robeson Field here in Ithaca, New York. Tigers up 2-0 on the red. Brielle right now on the mound and squaring around to bunt, and bunting at it and missing is Addison Presley, the Cornell leadoff hitter and center fielder. Presley in yesterday's games was 2 for 5. Struck out twice in game 1 against Wright. Here's the pitch. That one is chopped. Foul.
Well, Wright was absolutely dominant yesterday. Left-handed pitcher, and she had 5 strikeouts on the game. 2 of them actually of Presley, as you say, Eli.
Up she went for 5 1/3. No runs. 4 hits. Worked around 3 walks as well. One misses high to Presley, so the count goes to 1-2. Presley had a much better game 2 yesterday, 2 for 3. He's hitting 301 on the season. She'll go down swinging, so a good start for Brielle Wright, first strikeout of the game. As we mentioned, she had 5 in game 1 yesterday. She also has 69, that's her 70th strikeout of the season. Ella Herod now into the batter's box for Cornell, the Big Red shortstop. First pitch misses outside. A little overcast here for this 11:30 start on a Monday, the rare weekday game in Ivy League play. The game's moved this weekend due to some inclement weather on Saturday. That one is driven high and deep to left. If it's fair, it's gone. It is foul. Wow, just missing, going over the left field foul pole. Ella Herod gave that one a drive.
Well, absolutely, just slightly ahead of that pitch, but we can see the ball might be flying out of the park today. Yesterday, the wind was blowing in. Today, the flag in left field, it's blowing out.
And only 1 home run in yesterday's 12 innings of play. 2-1 now to Herod. Herod has some power, 2 homers on the air. Of course, when you think of power in the Cornell lineup, you think of Lauren Holt, who's batting cleanup today. Which is the zone, so 2-2. Brielle Wright may have taken a little bit off of that pitch to make sure she got the call.
Absolutely, and Herod was involved in both of those sort of late inning Cornell rallies in game 1 and game 2. Hopefully Cornell can see its top of the lineup, get things going early.
Ground that one foul past Coach Farlow at third base. She had good at-bats yesterday, as you mentioned. 3 for 7 on the day. She was 1 for 3 in game 2, but did have a double in that 5th inning rally when Cornell struck twice. They could not score 4, though, to keep the game going. They were run ruled after 5. Here's the 2-2. This is outside, 3-2. Walk here would be huge for Herod. She's 5 for 5 on stolen base attempts this season, so if she gets on, definitely a threat to run. Here's the payoff pitch from Wright. Swung on and missed. The bat goes flying, and Herod is retired. So 2 batters, 2 strikeouts for Wright.
Fantastic pitching here from Brielle Wright. Herod is one of the most difficult batters in this Cornell lineup to strike out. Last year she had just 2 strikeouts, a little more this year.
Emma Harshberger for Cornell, the 3-hitter and first baseman, and a 3 Cornell freshman in this lineup. Sky that one foul for the first base dugout. You've always got to feel good as a pitcher when you make a batter swing and miss so hard the bat goes flying.
Absolutely, and 2 strikeouts so far and just 2 batters for Brielle Wright, picking up right where she left off yesterday. Struck out her first 2 batters in that game as well.
Princeton only used 3 pitchers yesterday. Wright went 5 1/3 in game 1, and then Cassidy Shaw, the starter in game 2 in all 5 innings, giving up just 2 runs. Assume she's also available in relief. Right, looks solid. Falls behind here though, 2-1. Harshberger yesterday, 2 for 7 in game 1 though. She was 2 for 4, had an RBI in both games, so a nice 2 RBI day for the Cornell first baseman. Misses outside. Well, we have a moment. Go over the Princeton defense. It's Hahn left, Sabloni in center, Ford and right. The infield from left to right. Goodwin, Zhang, Dominguez, and Phelps. Pappard behind the dish and right in the circle. Here's the pitch. Chopped foul off the dish. So 3-2. The count is full for the second straight hitter. Right, trying to have an easy and quick first inning. Strike out the side. Grounded to third, or to short. Zhang up with it. The long throw across in time. What a nice play from Sonia Zhang to get Emma Harshberger, and 3 up, 3 down for Brielle Wright. The Princeton bats will come back when we come back in the second. game 1. Falls behind in the count here, though, 0-2.
Well, Holt had a pretty good game in game 1, 1 for 3 with a walk, but she did ground into that game-ending double play that cut short the Cornell rally.
The Cornell scored twice in the 7th as Hirschel ground one over to Goodwin at third. Up with it, fires over to first. And one away for Brielle Wright. Now, Charlize Kai. Char Kai, the right fielder for Cornell. Was 1 for 4 yesterday with a walk. Reached base in both games, though.
Sharkai, one of the freshmen in this lineup, an infielder by trade, but talking to Coach Farlow, there wasn't a natural spot for her in this crowded Cornell lineup, but she was hitting so well that she forced herself into regular playing time.
Ground that one foul off to the left side. Cornell looking for their first base runner against Brielle Wright. Wright's win in game 1 yesterday improved her record to 5-4 on the season. Of course, some of those losses came before Ivy play when these teams both will head south to face off against other D1 non-Ivy teams, sharpen their skills before Ivy play. I know both coaches have talked about how important those out-of-conference early games are. Another ball chopped foul off to the left side by Kai. Allows you to figure out what you need to work on before you get to the all-important in-conference play.
Absolutely, and that's pretty much exactly what we heard from Coach Van Akron of Princeton before the series. Her team really figured out what they needed to work on and got it done.
You're seeing the results here, 10-1 in Ivy League play, looking for the sweep of the Big Red. Last time the Tigers traveled to Ithaca 2 years ago, they had Ivy League Pitcher of the Year, Alexis Laudenslager, and she went off to Notre Dame with 2 years of eligibility left after the 2023 season. Grounded right back to right. She spears it, fires over to first, and 2 away on 2 ground balls from Brielle Wright.
Well, one of the things with the Princeton pitching staff is that Brielle Wright was in that sort of relief closer role last year, pitched to a 2.65 ERA with 10 saves, and now she is sort of their ace starter this season.
Yep, games 1 and 3, we expected her to be out there in the circle. Emma Antich digs in for her first at-bat. Cornellian hitting .279 on the season so far. Also a home run, a triple, and 5 RBIs. And 5 doubles. Antich yesterday left 3 runners on base in game 1. Cornell would be happy to get some more runners on base for her to have the chance to drive them in. Here she grounds it to third, though, and that will do it. So another easy inning for Brielle Wright. 6 up, 6 down for the Tigers, and Princeton will come back to bat with the 4-0 lead in the third. Lead over Cornell, and they'll look to add to it. I'm sure like an early bus ride back to Princeton if they can get another run rule. They had one in game 2 yesterday, off to a good start here, up 4. 2 runs in both of the first 2 innings, although all those runs came against Cornell starter Kyrie Denny. Now it's Maxine McCraw in the circle. Dominguez grounded out to Harshberger at first base to end the first inning.
While McCraw worked in and out of trouble in the second, she also did the same thing in game 1 yesterday.
And she gets the call, the second Tiger batter to go down looking against her. That outside corner is treating her well. Pappert now for the Tigers, the 9-hitter. She singled to lead off the second and then Came around on a home run from the batter up next. That one, though, sky to Antich, who will make the catch. So 2 away, and this is exactly the type of environment you want when Sonia Zhang comes to the plate.
No
2
one
out and no one on base.
Absolutely, and even then you may not be safe. But what you're seeing so far this inning from McCraw, dotting the outside corner there to both of those lefties. We'll see how she faces the righty, Zhang.
Zhang led off the game with a walk, came around to score, and then in that second inning, a towering drive to left center field. Well, beyond the fence and into the trees that encircle the outfield here at Neiman Robeson Field. McCraw in the second got 2 quick outs once she came into the game, but then loaded the bases, a hit, and a walk before getting Braden Hale. Drawing now 6 RBIs and 6 runs on the weekend. That's a pretty impressive stat line. She'll be under consideration for Ivy League Player of the Week.
I think so. Zhang is just having an absolutely fantastic series, absolutely fantastic season.
She'll shoot that one down the right field line. Foul. Just a few feet away from Sharkai in right field and 2 feet away from that right field foul line.
Yeah, and that pitch she sort of served over to first base. She was moving with the pitch.
You don't see the slap hitters as much from that right side of the batter's box, but you'll still see batters move towards first to try to get that extra jump. Just misses the inside corner. I think Maxine McCraw wanted that call, but be a little bit low as well. To to Zhang. A 5'7" sophomore from Houston, Texas. The colder Northeast has not hurt her at all.
Absolutely not. And in her freshman campaign last year, she led the team with a 388 batting average, 627 slug, 494 OPS, on base percentage, excuse me, which would put her OPS over 1100.
The 2-2. Misses low, so 3-2. McCraw was ahead in the count 1-2, but now under threat of losing Sonia Zhang. Full count pitch, grounded foul. Zhang also made a really nice play at the bottom of the first, ranging deep into the hole between shortstop and third base, and then throwing off her back foot to get the Cornell runner. So doing it with the bat and the glove. Here's the payoff pitch. Misses badly outside, not a competitive pitch from McCraw. Full count walk, a nice plate appearance from Zhang. She's now reached in all 3 of her at-bats, and now Lauren Sabloni will try to extend the inning for the Tigers. 1 for 2 on the day, reached and scored in the first on a base hit, and then flew out to Presley in center field. Now she'll shoot one to right, Sharkai over, and she'll make the catch. Nice play from Kai, and the easiest inning so far, the first inning when the Tigers do not score. Cornell will try to get back into this one when we come back. Welcome back to Ivy League softball on ESPN+. The Tigers up 4-0, although Maxine McCraw was able to get through the top of the third without giving up a run. The first time that's happened so far in this ball game. Maddie Ullensvang will square off for her first plate appearance against Brielle Wright, who has yet to concede a base runner.
Yet to concede a base runner, yet to let a ball leave the infield. 2 strikeouts and 4 groundouts.
It'll be Ullensvang, then Albert, and Sydney Staff. Meant that Albert came into the game for Susan Pate. It was in that designated player spot. Now it's Ullensvang. who's in the DP position, and Albert moved over to third. Ullensvang falls behind in the count, 1-2. And something we've seen a lot from Brielle Wright. She is pounding the zone.
Absolutely, and just keeping this game completely under her control.
Nice emergency cut there from Ullensvang to stay alive. Shoots it off the top of the Princeton dugout down the first base line. Ullensvang, 268 on the season. Also a home run. Stays alive there. Much better swing on that 1-2 pitch. Timed it up well and shot it just straight back against the screen.
Oh, from my eye yesterday, Ullensvang had some of the best at-bats against Wright. A double, the only double against Wright, and a walk.
Take just off the inside corner. A little bit of a hitter's strike there. A 2-2, she'll take it, and the Cornell team needs it. Leadoff batter would be huge here. They've got work to do, although Maxine McCraw looks like she's settled into the game. The count goes full to Ullensvang. Big pitch here. If Cornell can get their leadoff batter aboard, who knows? They can get Brielle Wright maybe a little bit in her head, start moving runners across. It's one of the goals for the game, I assume, for the Big Red, is to score before the last inning of the game. There's a hard ball right off of Wright, and that will be stopped by Zhang at short, but Ullensvang was already at first. Let's hope Wright is okay. She took that one right off the leg.
Yeah, it looks like she is okay walking around there in the circle. Maybe it hit off more of the meaty part of the leg. We saw someone got hit in the knee by a ball yesterday. Forgot who, but that one harmlessly deflects to shortstop.
Good to see that Wright is okay and staying in the game, but for Cornell, that was a huge plate appearance and the hardest hit ball by far that we've seen come off a Big Red bat. Now Samantha Albert. Swing and miss, and an off-speed pitch in the dirt. Albert playing third, was not originally in the starting lineup, but came in to the game in the second inning.
Well, coming into the weekend, Samantha Albert 3 for 9 on the season.
She'll square around to bunt. She will bunt at it and miss. I think she wanted to pull the bat back, but there wasn't quite enough time. One of the rare hitters without batting gloves.
Yeah, that's interesting, Eli, and kind of hurts the bunt sometimes.
Your hands are a little bit more exposed, although I'm sure she's used to it. Nice stop there by Pappert behind the dish to keep Ullensvang at first. Ullensvang this season, 2 for 2 on stolen base attempts. Albert this year hitting .333. So cut on and miss that one, go down swinging. Pappert will try to backpick Ullensvang at first, but the ball got a little bit away from Phelps. Either way, one down, and the third strikeout of the game recorded for Brielle Wright. Sydney Staff, the 9-hitter for Cornell, will try to keep the line moving and flip the order with 2 on. Sin Presley waits on deck. Ullensvang is taking those aggressive leads once the ball comes out of the hand of Brielle Wright, and you can see that Lauren Pappert is not so pleased that she's getting off the base so hard. She's gestured over as if to throw to first base, and then did throw to first base after the strikeout. One skied to center, going back on it is Sabloni. Now underneath it, it will go over her head and over the fence for a ground rule double. Maybe Princeton caught a little bit of a break there, as if that one knocks off the fence, Ullensvang's going to come around to score. You could see Sabloni just was having trouble tracking it in center.
Yeah, I mean, not an easy play there in center field. It was. Sometimes right over your head is the hardest ball to track. You can't move to your left, you can't move to your right, and by the time you realize you've misjudged it, it's already over your head.
Yeah, sometimes when they're hit right over your head, it's tough to judge how far behind you it's going to go and also where to turn. You saw Sabloni kind of twisting a little bit, trying to get a read on the ball as There's going to be a meeting on the mound. Brielle Wright will get some words of encouragement from her teammates. No coach as part of this meeting, although I did see two Princeton players head on down to the bullpen, which is partially blocked by the dugout, so we can't see who, but interesting to note that there's someone up in the pen throwing. So now runners on second and third for the top of the order. Talk about setting the table. That's something we saw a lot yesterday by this Cornell lineup. It'll be Addison Presley. Infield in for the Tigers. Presley swings and misses at a first pitch.
Well, Presley, left-hander, a bit of a slap hitter. Princeton's defense is ready to come home on a weakly hit grounder.
I'm sure Ullensvang will be aggressive as well, trying to get a run across early. Or I say early, it's already the bottom of the third.
Well, speaking of aggression from Ullensvang, on that fly ball to center, you're supposed to be halfway between. She was almost at second base, very aggressive, and had that ball not bounced over the fence, she might have scored.
Yeah, I think she read Sabloni well. Red caught a break that she could make the catch in center as that one cut on and missed, so ahead in the count is right. As I was saying, Cornell caught a break that the ball wasn't caught, and then the Tigers caught a break that it bounced over the fence. That's Hollenkamp who's up in and throwing in the Tigers bullpen. Ayala Hollenkamp. We might see her later in this one, especially if Wright can't get out of the inning. Not a particularly great 1-2 pitch, evens the count at 2. Hollenkamp yesterday, also in game 1, in relief of Wright, pitched an inning and a third. We'll talk more about her if she comes in later, though. Here's the 2-2 to Presley. Swung on and missed. A huge strikeout there in a sacrifice situation from Brielle Wright. Now it'll be up to Ella Herod, who was a Wright victim herself in the first inning.
Well, that is the fourth time this weekend that Brielle Wright has struck out Addison Presley.
That's some ownage right there. First pitch ball to Ella Herod.
That's a huge out for Princeton, but Cornell still has 2 runners in scoring position.
Up it's Ullensvang at third. She singled off the leg of Wright, Cornell's first base runner. And a fly ball that had some carry by Sydney Staff worked its way over Sabloni's head for a ground rule double. Sabloni's still pretty far in at center field. Now she's taken a couple steps back. Herod has some power. Also doubled in game 2 yesterday. She was a 2 RBI day for her. Here she shoots that one right back the middle. Zhang over. Can she get it? The throw off? She can. The speedy Herod is cut down going to first. And Brielle Wright able to work out of the 2-on, 1-out jam. Flashed the leather a couple times. And now the Tigers will look to grow their lead. It's Carice Ford, the 3-hitter. And Ali Ha and Jessica Phelps. That one lined, but caught by Albert at third. Hard contact, finds a glove.
What a catch by Albert. Only had a chance to make 1, maybe 2 steps to her left before reaching out the glove and making the catch on that line drive.
So the line out to the third baseman, now Ali Ha. Ha 1 for 1 with a sac fly in the first, and then singled and got all the way to third in the second. That single was the first base runner against Maxine McCraw.
Well, McCraw so far, 2 innings, no runs, has really came in and stabilized this game for Cornell.
Yeah, it looked like it was getting away from them, as that one might be in play for Harshberger. Going back, it ticks off the top of her glove. Would have been a really nice play. Tough to make that catch over the shoulder running away from home plate, especially as an infielder, but it was just hit a little bit too hard by Ha.
Yeah, the first baseman doesn't have a great angle on that ball, having to sort of make the basket catch.
You often see the second baseman. In this case, that'd be Antich. As that one is skied down the left field line. Staff over in foul ground makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Maxine McCraw. We've seen that in all 3 innings that she's come into pitch. She's gotten those 2 quick outs and then had some trouble. We'll see if she can get a 3 up, 3 down. The first for a Cornell pitcher here in the fourth. Facing off against her, Jessica Phelps. 1 for 2, reached on an air in the first and then singled in the second. Cornell already has committed 2 airs. They committed 3 in both games yesterday. Phelps takes outside.
Well, we've talked a lot this weekend about Cornell's freshmen, but Phelps is one of the freshmen in this Princeton lineup. Has been fighting for playing time and winning recently in Ivy play.
Just misses the inside part of the zone.
Phelps often DHs and playing first base today.
The 2-1. On appeal, no, rules the first base umpire, so the check swing from Phelps was held up. She is now ahead in the count, 3-1. On deck, Allie Goodwin. Goodwin 1 for 1, reached base in both of her plate appearances. That one is shot right towards the Cornell dugout. It's off the screening in front. And so the count goes full. Maxine McCraw looking for the first 1-2-3 inning from a Cornell pitcher. Jessica Phelps looking to extend the inning, keep the line moving. The payoff pitch from McCraw. Misses low. So just like in the third, she gets 2 quick outs and then walks the third hitter. As I mentioned, it'll now be the third baseman, Goodwin. Goodwin reached base twice, though, has yet to advance past first. Now Phelps has reached base in all 3 per plate appearances. Took an aggressive lead there, but Lauren Holt looked her back. 4-0 Tigers. They struck twice in the second, as there's going to be a little bit of a mound visit here from a Cornell coach. As I was saying, the Tigers struck twice in the first and then twice in the second. In the second, it was a Sonia Zhang home run that chased Kyrie Denny from the game. Now a meeting on the mound. Maxine McCraw, maybe a little bit of a game plan here for facing off against Allie Goodwin. Also looks like she's lost a little bit of control. Maybe a coaching staff noticed a release point problem or something else about her windup that she was not exactly loving. Also interesting, you see, you can't have 2 coaches on, so one coach on the field, so one coach whispers over to the first baseman Harshberger to give her some words for the mound meeting. Anyway, everyone's set to go, and it'll be a 1-0 count against Allie Goodwin.
Yep, and McCraw has been hitting her spots pretty well, inducing some nice weak contact, but a couple of those sort of up and away, uncompetitive pitches, maybe that's what they noticed.
Just misses. That was more of a competitive pitch. Still missed, so behind in the count 2-0, but closer to where she wanted it. Also just misses off the inside corner. So 3-0. At risk of 2 free passes in a row in the fourth. Not what you want to be doing, especially when you're already trailing. That one catches the inside the zone. Lauren Holt's throw, though, gets away from the first baseman, Harshberger. I don't think that Jessica Phelps, though, saw the ball get by, so she was happy to stay at first base, and a nice job backing up the play by Sharkai.
We saw a similar play yesterday, Sharkai backing up, one where the runner was considering going to second but ended up staying put.
So 3-1. This is inside, and the walk will move Phelps over into scoring position. So 2 on, 2 out for Brayden Hale. The one of 2 batters yet to reach base for this Tigers lineup. She'll shoot that one hard and off of Antich into right. Kai up with it. She'll throw over to Antich. Antich will throw to third. The tag. She is safe at third. That was Allie Goodwin trying to get to third base on the single, and she does so successfully. Jessica Phelps comes around to score, and the Tigers will take the lead. I think they're going to go with an air there on Emma Antich at second base. That ball was hit really hard, but right at Antich. I'm sure a play she would like to make.
Yeah, I mean, that one was smoked. You know, as the second baseman, you'd like to get your body in front of it so at least you can knock it down, but maybe that one hit so hard it just kind of deflected off Antich's glove into right field.
Looks like, or maybe a pinch hitter here for the Tigers. It's going to be Sophia Marsalo, excuse me.
Well, we saw Marsalo come into the game in Game 2 yesterday.
She's pinch hitting for Graciela Dominguez. Let's see if she stays in the game at second base. On first base is Brayton Hale. She hit that ball really hard right off of Antich, and then moving over to third and just beating the throw is Goodwin. That one popped up. Albert settling under it now, calling her off. Nope, and making the catch is Albert. Kind of a basket catch there after she called off Herod. And so the side is retired, but the Tigers tack on one more. They now lead 5-0, and Cornell will have to get their bats cracking in the bottom of the fourth when we return. To the dish, now trailing 5-0. Brio Wright gets another insurance run in the top of the fourth. She's looked excellent so far, although in the third, Cornell was able to get 2 runners on against her. They'll look to keep up that momentum.
And we've seen Cornell struggle in a couple of big spots so far this weekend. And
yeah, well, left runners on in both games 1 and 2, including with the bases loaded, I think, in game 1.
Yeah, and they only really broke through towards the end when it was a little too late. We'll see if they can get something going here in the fourth.
It was a good pitch to hit. It's chopped, presumably foul. Berger took off towards first base as if there was a drop third strike or something else like that, but she's called back. Berger 0 for 1, grounded out to Zhang in the first. Zhang robbed her of a hit, ranged deep into the hole to make the play. I thought the ball was going to end up at the glove of Goodwin at third base, but instead it got by her and to Zhang. The 2-2 hit right back and off of right again. Zhang up with it. She'll throw over to first. In time.
Wow.
Well, the second ball to hit off of Brielle Wright, and the second time that Emma Harshberger has been robbed by Sonia Zhang.
Well, that was a fantastic play from Zhang. I guess reading the ball off the deflection and sort of moving right in her path of the throw to first. Just perfectly placed. For Zhang.
Now Lauren Holt for Cornell. Holt led off the second inning and grounded out to Zhang.
Well, Zhang, the usual third baseman for Princeton, has gotten quite a fair amount of action at shortstop today.
Holt will take inside. Here's the 2-0. Skied back, so a strike now. 2-1 the count to Holt. Holt second in the Ivy League in home runs with her 8. That one is foul, just off the glove of Goodwin at third. Coach Farlow wanted it called foul. It kind of knocked off her glove just as she was jumping over the line, but the home umpire ruled that she was in foul territory when it knocked off her glove, or the ball had bounced foul. Either way, 2-2 now, the count to Holt. Better contact, though, from the Cornell catcher.
Absolutely, Eli. And one of the things that Cooper and I were talking about yesterday is Carice Ford and Lauren Holt are two of the best hitters in the Ivy League. If you look throughout slugging percentage, home runs, RBIs, they're neck and neck. And so far, Holt has not been able to make an impact or a major impact this series.
She entered the series with 25 RBIs, and right now is going to exit the series with those 25 RBIs unless she can do something about it in the last 3 innings or 4 innings that Cornell has. Here's the pitch from right to Holt. Now right back to the screen. Holt was on it with her timing there. Just couldn't quite barrel it up.
Yeah, it was a nice pitch, a little bit up in the zone maybe. Maybe a little change of speeds. I think one of the things that Coach Farlow was talking to us about is Holt has been forced to be more patient because pitchers are often pitching around her this season.
Grounds that one foul. This is one of the better matchups you'll see in Ivy League play. One of the best pitchers versus one of the best hitters.
Absolutely.
Right, Lauren Holt. I always love watching Holt hit. She has kind of a funky stance. Her feet are super close together, like what you'd see picture of Babe Ruth in olden time videos. Super close together, and then she takes a big kick to help her with her timing. She'll ground this one over to Zhang. She's got it, and will fire over to first. So 2 ground balls to shortstop and 2 outs from the Tiger sophomore.
That was the 5th 6-3 putout we've seen in this game, and not only that, the single that deflected off the pitcher and was fielded by Zhang as well.
Sharkai for Cornell, her second at bat against Brielle Wright. Grounded out right back to Wright in the second inning. Ball was hit fairly hard. It just found the glove of Zhang.
Yeah, and you can see Zhang is playing shaded toward third base with a lot of these hitters. Still able to range, though, to her left.
Three 3-0 behind in the count is Brielle Wright. Not sure if we've seen a 3-0 count from a Cornell hitter so far.
I don't think so, and Wright has not surrendered a walk yet today. I don't think she had one in game 1 either.
Three and one. Emma Antich on deck. One chopped over to Goodwin. She's up with it. Will fire over to first. And 3 up, 3 down for Brielle Wright. We will head to the 5th. The Tigers 5, Cornell. The 9-hitter, Lauren Pappert, will dig in against Maxine McCraw for our 3rd inning of work. That one's bunted right off the dish and maybe right off of Lauren Holt. She's going to go back and walk away. She looks a little shaken up here. Not sure where that hit her. Maybe it hit her off the mask?
That's what kind of looked like she motioned toward her forehead while she was walking over.
I think she's just a little bit unhappy with getting so dinged up. Obviously, all 3 games is a lot in a weekend behind the dish. Looks like she's okay, though. Good to see.
Well, Maxine McCraw is quietly having a fantastic outing. 3 innings, 1 run, and no earned runs. And keeping this game close.
Yep, she's worked around 6 base runners. Keeping Cornell in this one. Happer 1 for 2. She singled to lead off the 2nd. Came around to score on the Sonia Zhang home run. The 1-1. Grounded to first. Harshberger. And 1 out.
Nice backhand there from Harshberger, and then turns around and steps on first.
Sonia Zhang. The Tiger is 4th in the Ivy League in total bases. One of my favorite stats to use. You see, combines power and just the ability to get on base. As she'll take the first pitch ball there.
Yeah, you don't see that one talked about too much, but the Ivy League keeps track of it.
So the second highest average, or excuse me, second highest on the team, 5th in the Ivy League. She'll shoot that one to center. Presley in on it, and it will fall. So 1 out single for Zhang. She's now 2 for 2 with 2 walks. Just an incredible weekend.
Yep, and that line drive sort of tracking in the same path as her home run, just not hit as high or as far.
The 2-hitter, Lauren Sabloni. She's 1 for 3. 0 for 2, though, against McCraw. Nice stop there by Holt behind the dish to keep Zhang at first. Skied on the infield. Harrod. Now Staff calling her off. Will make the catch. The wind is really pushing these balls back. It looked like she was ready to square up at the edge of the green turf, what would be the outfield grass. Instead, though, it carried all the way out to Staff in left field, and that's exactly where the American flag over the scoreboard is blowing. Now Carice Ford. Ford 1 for 3. Singled in the first. Part of that opening rally against Kyrie Denny. One and one. Oh, and hit hard and through the hole on the left side. No Carice Ford. Now 2 for 4. And it'll bring up Allie Ha.
Yep. Ha had a sac fly in the first inning, a base hit in the second, 1 for 2. McCraw has seen this situation before today, runners on first and second, but this time only 1 out.
Sky to center, going back on it is Presley, but she will square up before the track and make the catch. So another shutdown inning from Maxine McCraw. She has been excellent and kept Cornell in this game, but Cornell needs to get some runners on base and some runs across home plate. They will try to do so when we come back in the bottom of the 5th. Cornell's second baseman. She grounded out to Goodwin at third in the second.
Well, Goodwin made a nice play to end the 4th, a nice short hop on a soft grounder and through to first.
You'll see her start every at bat, a couple steps in from third base, and seems like she creeps even farther in with each subsequent pitch. These infields in Ithaca are pretty fast. There's the 2-0 to Antich. Hatch is the outside corner. Put on and missed. 2-2.
Well, Eli, you mentioned earlier batting stances. Antich has a bit of a closed stance. I remember this is how I used to hit. Front foot closer to home plate than the back foot.
Shoot that one to first. Phelps will just take one step to the bag. And one out here in the fifth. That'll be Maddie Ullensvang. She's the first Cornell batter to reach base. She ripped the ball right off the leg of Wright. We were glad to see Wright stay in the game, but there's nothing that the left side of the infield could do with it once it bounced off Wright. The best contact so far came from Ullensvang, or Sydney Staff, who's due up to hit if a Cornell batter can reach base.
Well, Ullensvang and Staff got things going in the third for Cornell, but weren't able to do much with it. We'll see if they can do the same here.
Here's the 1-0. This is 2-0. Cornell batters are starting to work these counts a little bit better as they're seeing more from Wright. I know they saw her yesterday in game one, but she's thrown now over 75 pitches here today. No, maybe a little bit of sign of fatigue as she's starting off these at-bats with balls. In yesterday's game one, this was actually as far as she got. She got one more inning from where we are now. 5 1/3.
Well, Ullensvang has been seeing her all weekend, not swinging at any balls, as she takes her base there.
Third baseman, number 15, Samantha Albert.
Samantha Albert to the dish for Cornell. She'll check the signs. Looks like she'll be swinging away, though. With the 5-run deficit, not super helpful to be bunting and giving away outs here, especially with only 8 left to give if you're Cornell. Still, though, the Princeton defense is pinched in, kind of in a bunt defense with their corners.
Well, these teams like to bunt a lot, even in all sorts of situations. Coach Farlow definitely has a method to her madness. We saw them steal down 7 runs yesterday, a little double steal.
An aggressive lead from Ullensvang is looked back by Pappert. 1-1, you're right. And sometimes, just causing a little bit more chaos for a defense can be helpful in getting in their heads, putting some more pressure on them. That's always what you want to be doing when you're on offense and when you're on the base paths. On and missed. Albert 0 for 1. Struck out in the third. Was not originally in the starting lineup, but came in for Susanna Pate, who was the designated player, but Albert came in and is playing third base. Ullensvang at first. She moved over to be the designated hitter and called strike 3. The first strikeout looking from Brielle Wright. And that's a pair of Ks for Samantha Albert. Sydney Staff for Cornell will try to keep the inning going. She's 1 for 1. She had a drive to center field that it looked like Sabloni was going to be able to catch up. Here she grounds one, a good one at third. Fired over to first, and that will do it. Works around the walk, and the Tigers lead at 5-0 as we head to the 6th. Sun for Princeton so far. They lead at 5-0. Just 2 hits from Cornell batters against Brielle Wright and 9 hits from the Tigers against Cornell pitching. Although Maxine McCraw entered the game in the second inning without any outs, I should add, and has pitched really well since then. She did give up a run. It was unearned, part of the 3 errors that Cornell has committed so far in this game 3. The Red looking to avoid a 3-game sweep against the Tigers, and Jessica Phelps, who's in the batter's box right now, is looking to help complete the sweep, push the Tigers to 11-1 in Ivy play.
Well, Phelps worked a really nice walk in her last at-bat in the 4th, full count, fouled off a bunch of pitches.
McCraw has retired the first 2 batters she's faced in every inning so far. Also has not been able to get through a 1-2-3 inning.
Well, she's getting those outs when they're most important.
Certainly. Skips in, so 2-2. Tigers 11-1, as I mentioned, 3 games up with the win over the Big Green in Hanover. Of course, the winner of the Ivy League hosts the 4-team Ivy League tournament, and the winner of that tournament gets the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. This Princeton team will not be a team that some of those power conference schools will want to be facing.
Absolutely not. Princeton has been absolutely fantastic, made a nice run last year as well. This year, dominating the Ivy League.
Skied towards center, Presley in. It'll be Antich, though, will square up and make the catch.
Nice play from Antich, who's made a couple errors so far this weekend.
And she's usually pretty sure-handed at second base. And pairing of Antich and Herod, better defensive combinations you'll see amongst or around the Ivy League in the middle infield. They've turned their fair share of double plays. When grounded towards Herod, she'll fire over to first. 2 outs. And the streak continues. We'll see if Maxine McCraw can get that 1-2-3 inning that has eluded her. It'll be Braden Hale who will try to keep the pattern going. She's reached once on an air from Antich in the 4th. Also flat out to center and grounded out a fielder's choice. She actually reached in the 1st. It came up with the bases loaded and hit it right back to, it was then Kyrie Denny in the circle. Threw it over to Lauren Holt to get 1 out. It was the 2nd out of the inning. 1-0. Skied. Presley over. Now Staff over. It will be Presley. And 3 up, 3 down. For the first time in this game, the Tigers go quietly. Cornell will come to the plate, trailing by 5 in the bottom of the 6th. A pinch hitter, Reagan London, will lead things off for Cornell. This is Addison Presley's spot in the order, but it will be London. London so far this season, 1 for 11. Her 1 hit, though, was a double.
Well, London came in to pinch hit for Haley Perkey in game 1 yesterday with the bases loaded. Popped out, but
Here's the pitch from right and missed by London. London, a senior. We've seen her plenty during her time in Ithaca, often as a backup to Holt.
I think Coach Farlow likes her experience as a senior coming into these important spots and taking her out for hitters who are not seeing the starting pitcher well.
Another one of those Cornell batters who does not wear batting gloves. She's fallen behind, though, 1 and 2 to Brielle Wright, who's absolutely dealing a little bit of trouble throwing strikes in the 5th, but otherwise, outside of a shaky 3rd, has looked excellent. And she starts off the 6th with the strikeout of the pinch-hitting London.
Well, that's now 6 strikeouts for her on the day. That tops her total of 5 in yesterday's start, and she is just dealing against this Cornell lineup.
A Rockland, California native, that's where Logan Webb is from. In the MLB. She'll face off now against Ella Herod. Herod 0 for 2. Herod foot all the way to the back of the batter's box. Take a pitch outside. Right now behind in the count, 2-0. A wind continuing to whip towards left field. You saw the wind blowing in yesterday. We've only seen 1 home run today. That was Sonia Zhang in the 2nd. As Herod gets that one past the dive of Zhang. The runner aboard. That's just Cornell's 3rd hit of the game. But a runner on now for the heart of the order. It'll be Harshberger, and then on deck, Lauren Holt. Cornell would like to see Lauren Holt bat with 2 runners aboard. Still just trailing by 5. They're in this game, but they've only got 5 outs to work with. See if Herod is aggressive on the base paths. Here's the pitch to Harshberger. Just misses outside. I think Brielle Wright was wondering where that pitch missed. Anyway, Harshberger 0 for 2 so far in this one. She was robbed in the 4th of a ball that knocked off of Wright. One of 2 comebackers that glanced off Wright. It was Zhang who was able to make the play. Herod at first, 5 for 5 stolen bases and stolen base attempts so far this season.
Well, Harshberger might be the hitter you want up in this spot. Has the lowest strikeout percentage among Cornell hitters with, I believe, just 2 on the season.
And 2 strikeouts and 84 at-bats. That's really impressive, especially from a freshman. So 3-1. Looks like there's going to be a discussion on the mound. Appert called the meeting, I think, just to calm down her pitch a little bit, give her a moment to breathe. There's more activity, I think, in the Dartmouth bullpen. Maybe not. There's a coach running down there, but we'll see if there's anyone up and throwing. We saw some action earlier in the 3rd when 2 Cornell runners were aboard. That's the highest stress situation that Wright has been in the 3rd. There was a runner on 2nd and 3rd with just 1 out, but she was able to work out of the jam. Here, though, it'll be 2 on and 1 out again after Harshberger earns the walk. Ella Herod moves over to 2nd, and suddenly, with 1 swing of the bat, Lauren Holt could change the dynamic of this game.
Well, absolutely. Wright has kept Holt, and for that matter, the entire top of the Cornell order quiet so far today. But here's a chance with 2 runners on and only 1 out.
And you know what Holt is thinking. 8 homers on the season. I think that's 2nd or 3rd in the Ivy League. It's 2nd with 8. Only behind Lauren Moody of Brown with 12. Holt's been quiet this weekend. Can she break out in Game 3? She'll get a good swing at that one. Hit it right off Coach Farlow, the 3rd base coach. It's impressive. Farlow got her foot up to block it and then knocked it right into the 3rd base umpire. Princeton defense, the middle infielders, be shaded over a little farther from double play depth that you'd like. Zhang pretty deep in the hole, playing Herod to pull, or Holt to pull. She'll sky that one to right. Forward under it and will make the catch. Tagging and moving over to 3rd is Herod. She will advance, but a huge out there against a dangerous hitter from Brielle Wright.
Yeah, Holt got the bat on it, but not able to drive it, and instead skies it out to the opposite field.
So Ford makes the catch, and now it'll be up to Shar Kai. Kai 0 for 2 in the ball game. Runners on the corners, though. A hit will score a run. Instead, though, she just taps it to Phelps at first, and that will do it. So Wright able to work around the hit and the walk. Cornell strands 2, and we will head to the 7th. The Tigers 5, Cornell nothing. You're watching Ivy League softball on ESPN+. Is Maxine McCraw, and she's been excellent. Has yet to give up an earned run in her 5 innings of work. Dominguez 0 for 2. She was pinch hit for in the 4th, but has re-entered. Here's the pitch from McCraw. Side.
And what we've seen the most from McCraw is getting those fly balls, those sort of lazy pop flies.
This is outside for a ball. So 3-0.
She got Dominguez looking in the third for her second strikeout. Keeping the ball away from her so far in this at-bat. 3 outside pitches, 2 of them for balls, 1 for a strike.
The 3-1. Low and outside, so leadoff walk for Graciela Dominguez. Now it looks like we'll see a pinch hitter. Looks like it's going to be Abby Hornberger into the game to hit for Lauren Pappert. Pappert was 2 for 4.
Number 8. 8 for 16.
It will be Hornberger into the game.
Now batting, number 8, Abby Hornberg.
Well, Hornberger comes into the weekend hitting 186, though she also pinch hit in yesterday's game, where she got hit by a pitch, which brought her hit by pitch total up to 8, which leads the team by quite a bit.
No one else has more than 5. She also has 4 home runs this season. Oh, wow. Doesn't always get on base. She has a lot of power. And wonder if Cornell's going to have a discussion here. Maxime Craw looks like she's lost the strike zone a little bit. And with the pinch hitter, always good to discuss someone maybe you haven't prepped as much for.
Absolutely, and Hornberger and Carice Ford have sort of both split time in right field at the designated player position as well, but with Ford being so fantastic this year, Hornberger has been making a lot of appearances as a pinch hitter in important spots instead.
Well, we have a moment we can look ahead at Cornell's schedule. They were supposed to play Ithaca College in their yearly doubleheader, but that's been canceled since this game got moved to Monday. It'll be Penn for Cornell, then Columbia and Harvard, and a couple of good chances to move up in the standings. Columbia is at 7-4, is in the 3 spot. Cornell at 4-7 could, in theory, catch them. That one shot right back up the middle by Hornberger, the pinch hitter. So now 2 on and nobody out for the Tigers. A little bit of a 7th inning rally starting to form, and the top of the order in Sonia Zhang is now up.
Now batting, shortstop, number 7, Zhang.
Well, that was a little reminiscent of yesterday's game with Hornberger lining one up the middle. We saw that so many times yesterday.
Zhang homered in the second. Here she skies one, definitely in the park though. In on it is Presley, back is Herod. It is Presley who will make the catch. Looks like everyone is okay. Might have knocked off one of the other players who was out there. Looks like Herod and Presley had a little bit of a miscommunication. Usually the center fielder has it, or excuse me, the shortstop has it unless the center fielder calls them off, and a little bit of a late communication. Either way, the out is recorded. And a dangerous out. Now it'll be Lauren Sabloni as that one scoots away from Holt. So the runners will advance. It'll be interesting to see whether Cornell decides to employ the intentional walk here to reinstate the force. Instead, though, they might just draw their infield in. So that's Dominguez who moves over to third. Hornberger, the pinch hitter, moves over to second. Lauren Sabloni takes another ball, 2-0. There's an open base at first. I wonder if, well, we'll see. I wonder if we'll get a pitching change here. Something else from Coach Farlow. She's out to discuss with the home plate umpire, and it looks like it may be a pitching change.
Now pitching for 11, number 2.
So it will be
Mila Fiordalisi.
Fiordalisi will come into the game. She pitched in game 2 yesterday, so the first pitcher in game 3 who did not feature in game 1.
Fiordalisi started game 2, pitched an inning, gave up 5 runs, and then was pulled for Kyrie Denny.
Now in the circle for Cornell.
The freshman has pitched fantastically this season overall for Cornell. came into the weekend with a 4.78 ERA, maybe a little higher now after surrendering the 5 runs on 1 inning yesterday.
Yep, it's moved up to a 5.25. In her 16 appearances, she's started 12 of them. She's thrown 64 innings, given up 75 hits, 59 runs, but only 48 of them have been earned. Has struggled a little bit with control, 32 walks in her 64 innings, almost a walk for every 2 innings. She does have 42 strikeouts, which is second in the team behind Kyrie Denny. She's thrown the second most innings. Fiordalisi has, only behind Denny. She comes into the game, though, a dangerous spot. 2 on, 1 out, and now behind in the count 3-0 to Lauren Sabloni.
Well, in Game 2 yesterday, Lauren Sabloni tripled off of Mila Fiordalisi, a deep fly ball to left center.
And Fiordalisi will start out by walking her. Not a terrible walk, though, with first base open, especially coming in with the 2-0 count. Now the bases, though, are full for Carice Ford. He's for the right fielder. 2 for 4. Sky that one back and foul. Ford second in the Ivy League in walks, second in the Ivy League in on-base percentage, third in slugging. She'll hit that one high, deep, and foul out of play and out of the confines of Neiman Robison Field. Also has the second highest batting average in the Ivy League, trailing just Laurel Moody, who's putting together an Ivy League Player of the Year campaign. She's behind in the count, though, 0-2, and an emergency swing stays alive, is able to foul that pitch back.
Well, getting Zhang out was a huge out for Maxine McCraw before the pitching change, and Fiordalisi looking to do the same.
Gets the strikeout, a huge strikeout with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. Down goes Ford. That's her second strikeout of the ball game, and now Fiordalisi has a chance to get out of the inning if she can get Ali Ha.
Well, with so many runners on base, that strikeout is exactly what she needed.
She'll start out, though, with the ball. Nowhere to put Ha. The bases are loaded. Marciela Dominguez started off this inning with a walk. Then Hornberger came in to pinch hit for Lauren Pappard. She singled. And Sonia Zhang flied out to center. The walk to Sabloni, and then the strikeout to Ford. That brings us to where we are now, Ali Ha.
Ali Ha, senior on this team, professional hitter. She has hit a sac fly in all 3 games of this series so far. Can't do that here with 2 outs.
Sky that one, and it will glance off the netting a little bit farther of a backstop, and Lauren Holt may have had a play to make. Instead, though, Ha remains alive. Top of the 7th. The Tigers scored 4 runs in the first 2 innings to chase Kyrie Denny. Then Maxine McCraw went 5. That one is poked foul down the right field line. Maxine McCraw went 5 innings, 5 1/3. She gave up no earned runs, just 1 run total. That's how Cornell trails 5-0, but she exited the game with runners on second and third and 2 balls on Sabloni, so that'll go down as a walk for her, I think. Misses low. We'll give you McCraw's final line when it is finalized at the end of this inning. That one is drilled high, deep, and foul. A line drive rocket off the bat of Ha. She was just a little bit too in front of that pitch.
That one was absolutely roped from Ha, just a bit foul, and we saw something similar from Harrod earlier.
I thought that one was destined to clank off the foul pole in left field. She'll turn on that next pitch, too. Is really quite early, but otherwise making great contact. That'll go over down near the trees on the left field line.
Well, Ha may be a little jumpy in this big spot. Can wait back and drive one on this pitch.
Here's the payoff pitch. Driven again, deep and foul. If any of these were fair, they'd have a chance to leave the yard. The count is full, though. There's nowhere to put Hoff or Fiordalisi, so she has to keep throwing these strikes. But it looks like Ha's seen the ball pretty well out of her hand. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Fiordalisi maybe tries to go high in the zone. Nope, instead she goes low and misses. Walks in a run. That's Dominguez who comes around to score. Hornberger over to third. Zabloni over to second. And Ha to first with the walk.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 55, Jessica. Oh.
And Jessica Phelps now will have a chance to add on to the lead. That pitch catches the outside corner from Fiordalisi. That run will be the first earned run from Maxine McCraw. She was hoping maybe that she would not have one to her name when she left the game, but instead, after a battle, Ha is able to work the walk against Fiordalisi. There'll be more work to do for Cornell in the bottom of this inning. Fiordalisi, though, just trying to get the red out of the jam. She's one pitch away. Jessica Phelps has reached base in 3 of her 4 at-bats, but one of those was a walk, one of those was an error. Now there was a base hit. She came around to score in the 4th, also flied out to Antich. Fouled back, stays alive. On deck, Allie Goodwin hoping to get one more at-bat in this game. Tigers are 3 outs away from a sweep. Misses just a little bit high, 2-2. Now it is roped and down into left field. Staff up with it. She'll throw over to second. Advancing to third is Ha. And scoring is Zabloni and Hornberger. The lead now up to 8. A nice piece of hitting there from Jessica Phelps. Keeps the line moving. Now runners will be on the corners for Allie Goodwin.
Well, earlier in that at-bat, you saw Phelps, a little late on a high pitch. That time she ropes it into left field, made the adjustment, and got the 2 RBIs.
Looks like there will be a pinch runner at third base. Courtney Harrison will come in to run for Allie Ha. First pitch from Fiordalisi to Goodwin is a strike. Goodwin, excuse me. So Fiordalisi came in hoping to get out of the jam. Instead, she's allowed every runner she inherited to score. Maxine McCraw maybe wishing she could face another batter or 2 on the bench, but either way, this is the hand that the Big Red have been dealt. With those runners in, though, we have Maxine McCraw's final line. She went 5 1/3, giving up 3 runs. 2 of them earned 5 hits and 5 walks. Also had 2 strikeouts. Still a really impressive performance. Tainted a little bit by the 7th inning. That one shot to center. Presley going back to the track. She makes the catch. Almost a bid for a 3-run shot. Instead, though, Cornell will head to the bottom of the 7th. They need 8 to get to the 8th, and they need 9 to walk it off. We'll be back with the bottom of the 7th. Wright's day is done. It'll be up to Cassidy Shaw, yesterday's Game 2 starter, to get the final 3 outs in this one. The Tigers up 8-0 on the Red after tacking on 3 more in the top half of this frame. Maybe a number of substitutions going on. Both head coaches huddled over the home plate umpire, discussing who will be in for Cornell, though we believe it'll be Emma Antich, Maddie Ullensvang, and Samantha Albert, who will try to get on base and set up a rally. Cornell has been good in these last inning situations. That's the only way I can describe it. Yesterday, they scored twice in the 7th and twice in the 5th in what was the last inning of a Game 2 run rule shortened game.
Yeah, Cornell, came close to extending the game, unable to, but Cassidy Shaw shut the door yesterday, pitched the complete game, 5 innings, no runs, 5 strikeouts, and in terms of Wright and Shaw, I mean, who's better? Well, Shaw has a 3.83 ERA, Wright 3.86 though after today's game, even lower, and they have just led this Princeton team so well so far
Right,
this season.
Cornell re-enter 27. She'll go back to being the DP. And 16 will go back to playing third base.
Looks like Susanna
Other
Pate
side, we
will
got
be back
77
into the
now
game
pitching.
as the designated player, so she'll be on deck.
We have 18's back in, and she is now the OP. 55 is there. Back in.
Jessica Phelps has also
31 is
re-entered.
now catching.
Looks like Braden
16,
Hale
8 for 16, and that's in right field.
will be behind the dish.
Have any questions for me after the game?
As the umpire says, he just read off about five different substitutions, and then it said, if you have any questions, you can talk to me after the game. So we're flying a little bit blind here about some of these defensive substitutions. Either way, we know that Hale is into the game as a catcher for Papper. I think there may have been a right fielder change, although they're too far away for us to be able to see.
It looks like
Blindy is-
Hornberger's staying out in right.
Yeah, it looks like Hornberger will go into right. That's where Ford was playing. Either way, Emma Antich takes a ball one. There's 3 outs left. The Tigers are hoping, so may not be important.
Well, Antich started off the little mini rally in the 5th yesterday with a double. That's where Cornell scored the 2 runs.
Pitch will swing and miss here against Cassidy Shaw. As we were talking about, Cassidy Shaw, the best arm ERA-wise in the Tiger stable. 9-5 on the season in her 21 appearances. Has given up 68 hits, though, in 60 innings pitched. 60 strikeouts to 26 walks, though. That's pretty impressive, and only 4 home runs allowed. Behind, though, in the count, 2-1 to Emma Antich. Antich 0 for 2. He ended the 2nd with a ground out and led off the 5th with a ground out.
Ball. Balls, 1 strike.
Swung on and missed, so 3-2. The count full. Nice pitch there from Shaw.
Ball, 2 strikes.
Swung on and missed, so Cassidy Shaw gets the strikeout of Emma Antich, the first batter she's faced. That'll bring up Maddie Ullensvang.
That is a huge first out there for Princeton. It's tough to put together 8 runs when you've only got 2 outs to work with here for Cornell.
Yep, now Maddie Ullensvang. Ullensvang has reached base in both of her plate appearances. She singled in the 3rd and then reached on a walk in the 5th. So she's had a good day at the dish and a day that's been tough for most of the Cornell batters.
Absolutely. Ullensvang has been seeing Brielle Wright quite well, both Game 1 and Game 3. A bunch of hits, a bunch of walks. But in Game 2, she was 0 for 2 against Shaw. And maybe that's some of the thinking behind the pitching substitution.
Now, Brielle Wright's day is done. That one misses inside, right? For the Tigers. Gave up 3 hits in her 6 innings of work. 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. Did give up the double, although that was a play that maybe could have been made by Sabloni in center. Switch to Ullensvang. That one catches the outside corner. 2-1 from Cassidy Shaw. She needs just 2 more outs for the Tigers to complete the sweep and move to 11-1 in Ivy League play. That one just misses. Corners pinched in. Middle of the infield back for the Tigers. Here's the pitch to Ullensvang. In there, 3-2. I think she may have thought that was ball 4 and got ready to drop the bat. Instead, though, she's held in the batter's box. Just 3 hits so far for Cornell. One of those came off the bat of Ullensvang, though. Strike 3 is foul tipped into the glove of Hale. So into the game, Braden Hale makes a nice play. A pitcher like Cassidy Shaw is always going to be punched up when the catcher is able to glove that when it nicks off the bat. She gave a little shout of joy and appreciation for her catcher. It'll be Samantha Albert to the dish.
Pate.
Oh, excuse me. It looks like they did make the switch. So Susanna Pate, who was in the starting lineup for Cornell but did not record a plate appearance, will hit here in the 7th.
Well, Shaw just 1 out away, 2 strikeouts, comes in here firing.
Looking to strike out the side in the 7th.
Yesterday, Cooper talked about our conversation with Coach Van Akron and the sort of personality differences between Princeton's 2 pitchers, and maybe Shaw a little more aggressive.
Well, this weekend as a whole, as that one is skied to center, Sabloni under it, and she will make the catch, and that will do it. As I was saying, this weekend has just demonstrated how dominant this Princeton pitching staff can be, and they end it with a 3-hit shutout. Any takeaways from the 3 games, Jen?
Well, I just think Brielle Wright and Cassidy Shaw just proving why Princeton has the best pitching staff in the Ivy League, the best team ERA, and of course, Sonia Jung with that amazing grand slam and another home run here today.
Well, that will wrap up today's contest between Princeton and Cornell, and it'll wrap up the 3-game series with Princeton winning game 3, 8-0, and sweeping the series. The Tigers will head home next weekend while Cornell will stay in Ithaca to face the Quakers. But for Jin Watanabe, I am Eli Fastiff saying so long from Neiman Robeson Field in Ithaca, New York, where